Welcome to the Man Up channel. I am your host, Bob Buckland, and with me today is John Font.
Hello, how we doing?
And today we are going to be talking about the lovely place over in Seattle, Chaz, or Chop, whatever you want to call it now.
Whack?
That's fairly accurate.
Chaz. What does Chaz stand for?
It was the Capitol Hill Anonymous Zone. There we go.
I'm trying to remember Chop. Hold on, I'm trying to find it here. The Capitol Hill something protest, if I remember correctly.
Occupying protests? Does that sound right?
Yes. Capitol Hill occupying protest or Capitol Hill anonymous
Autonomous Zone. There we go.
Autonomous Zone.
I knew we'd get it eventually.
Yes, long live the Chaz.
I mean, before too much longer, it'll be a new state.
I pray it is not.
Me too.
A perfect communist world. Today we're going to talk about how Seattle's Chaz is everything its woke organizers said that they were against. It's an article by Victoria Taft from June 13th. We've been following Chaz for a while now. When did Chaz get started? I know you had that up for a second.
It came into existence on June 8th, so it's been not quite 3 weeks now.
June 8th, Chaz is surviving. From what I heard, they have no showers, but I don't know. Last I heard, they also broke into the police department over there, so they might have showers there.
Yeah, but they do got toilets.
They do got toilets. Somebody is donating toilets.
The city is. The city is actually supporting this because it's supposed to be a big block party, according to the mayor. It could be a Summer of Love.
Summer of Love. Chaz is going to be remembered as the 2020 version of Summer of Love. But there's some things going on. The problem is when you protest the man, eventually you have to be the man. It's kind of like when you get that job at McDonald's and you're just that plebe that's sweeping the floor and you're like, I could run this place so much better. And then they offer you the management position and you've got to figure out how to run it better than the manager before you with a bunch of plebes that acted like you when you were sweeping the floor.
So how do you think they're going so far? It's been almost 3 weeks. How do you think they're going?
I think we have quickly gone the way of communism and gulags. I think they should have taken a tip from Russia, because this is definitely where we're headed, I think.
Well,
late 80s Russia, anyway.
I mean, let's be honest. We've all talked about it. Where we live at right now, be pretty easy to take over. I doubt it's even the 8 blocks that these guys have in Seattle.
Probably. We definitely have over probably the space that they have there, but we're not being supported by the city. We actually go work and stuff. So.
No, we have our own wells. I mean, there's a cow farm just right across the field from us, so we'd be good for a while.
So the organizers saying that this place is a new city in the middle of Capitol Hill, and it's peaceful. But that's not what some of the stuff that they have going on. First of all, a lot of the things that they are saying they are going against in the beginning just strictly by existing. So the first things that the Chaz organizers say is that they hate it that we stole the land from the Native Americans and we need to give Native Americans correct rights and so on and so forth. In fact, here in our native state of Ohio, they recently tore down a Christopher Columbus statue in Columbus, Ohio, because it was offensive.
I heard about that. You know, this is even the start of it. Speaking of that, I mean, wasn't that last year that being called the Redskins, the Washington Redskins, was offensive? They had to change that name too.
Yeah. So all that was happening. But the Chaz organizers, oh my gosh, I will speak English. The Chaz organizers, the Black Lives Matter organizers, and the Antifa and the other Arcanist groups are going to lecture us on war and conquest and the spoils of war and stealing land from Native Americans, yet they think nothing of stealing this land from the people who paid for it, the taxpayers. So if somebody just came and decided that your living room was theirs, I don't think that would last that long.
No, I have guns.
Yeah.
They could try to take over my front room.
That's later in our list.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to jump the gun. Haha, puns. Anyways,
it's official. Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood is calling itself the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. The Police in the 13th precinct have left. Next up, the chaz is illegal. Organizers who say that no man, woman, or child is above the law have put themselves above the law by basically stealing this area and depriving others of its use.
So, Democrats on impeachment, no one is above the law. Democrats and chaz, silence. It's just a block party. Summer of love. What do they do? Oh yeah, they threaten the business owners. Pretty much anyone in the residence section of it are bullied into either leaving or giving up their possessions. But, it's okay. They're doing it for a good reason.
The next one is my favorite one.
Oh, do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it? Because I love this one, too.
You can read this one. I read the last two.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate this one. Seattle's chaz boast a big, beautiful wall.
Oh, so beautiful.
Where did they get the idea for a wall, I wonder?
I wonder if they sent out contracts for that wall.
There's a joke there, but I'm going to take the higher ground on it. I think we all know the joke I'm going to make.
Nope, they sent out. I see Chaz made a wall. I'm shocked to make a cop-free zone look like The Walking Dead. Oh my gosh.
You can't make this up.
It's not. But the thing is like the first things they do is like everything that they were protesting against, they just turned around and did all of it.
And it's not even 3 weeks.
No. 3 weeks and they're already a crazy communist. I do think it's funny they brought in a rapper from someplace with a bunch of guns.
Oh, he was already in Seattle. Oh, I remember reading on him as he was trying to give his CDs to the Capitol or something like that.
Oh, Capitol Hill Records. And somehow he just had AKs in the back of his trunk.
Yeah.
Also in Chaz, there's no open borders. The leftists who took over the 6 square block of the same people who demanded that the U.S. have open borders. Yet Chaz does not have open borders. You must go through a checkpoint with armed guards who will check your ID to determine if you may come in. You may be denied entry on a whim because of your color, background, creed, or where you come from. That's pretty much illegal.
Could you imagine if Trump would try to have any of this, even in like an airport? Could you imagine that?
Oh yeah, or if the NRA set up their own zone.
NRA sets up their own zone. I'm gone. I want to go there.
I want to go there.
That'd be great. Oh, Seattle's chaz locks people in cages. The people who live in the area taken over by the radicals of chaz are by definition locked in.
I mean, you do have to realize there are people who just live there in apartment buildings in the area, and they just don't want to be there, but they're...
No, they're already saying that there's so many guns going off at night that they don't feel safe. I heard one story where a person is now living in a hotel out of the zone because she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't feel safe, and I don't blame her at all. It's less than 3 weeks. They already have 1 dead and 2 injured in shootings. All these people that say guns are bad and guns are evil, the guns end up in those zones. It's amazing how all these shootings happen in Democratic-controlled cities.
Yeah.
Like what we were talking about in Chicago, like last weekend, there was 44 or 46?
Yeah, there was a lot of people that got shot
were
over
killed?
the Father's Day weekend. And a lot of them were kids, too.
And yet nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about how these lives, especially these kids' lives, are ending due to gun violence in cities where it's supposed to be... Chicago is supposed to be impossible to get a gun. They have the strictest gun laws ever. And yet 46 deaths by shootings.
And they're the only people... The thing is, the only people over there that have guns are the criminals because they can get them and they don't have any qualms about getting them. It's the law-abiding citizens. And if you don't have to worry about other people having guns, then you don't have to worry about that. But moving on our list, there's no free speech in Seattle. If you say anything at which the leader of Chaz disagrees With you may be escorted off the premises. Furthermore, if you speak against the Arcano Collective, such as complaining that you didn't get to vote on which warlord you'll be having, you will be hurt.
What the world?
I don't remember voting for him.
I didn't vote for him. Why do you automatically consider yourself a superior?
Hearing Fox News read Monty Python to you is pretty good.
Oh, that made my day. That was the greatest thing ever. I wish I could show that clip, but I won't.
And then you read the next one, because this is what we were talking about earlier.
Chaz leaders are carrying guns. Hey, wait a minute, lefties. We thought guns were inherently bad. We thought cops should not carry them, much less mere citizens. But apparently Chaz needs to keep order. Imagine that.
And then they have a video of this guy carrying a gun and walking around the border, and there's more. I mean, they're open carrying there in Seattle, which is supposed to be a gun-free zone anyway.
Oh yeah, there was one video, I think it was last week, maybe 10 days ago, but it had a guy that was writing graffiti on one of these businesses' walls, and one of the guys that had guns come up here and tell him, you stop if you're going to have issues with it, as I'm going to blow your head off.
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck?
And I mean, that's force that's...
Wait, let's
just
call
silly.
the cops. Oh, that's right.
We can't call the cops. That means this guy's allowed to tell me he's going to blow my head off, and it probably will actually happen. Ugh. I mean, otherwise, it's just the Old West again. Like, you wear your 6-shooter on your hip, otherwise you're going to get shot.
It is. It is for something that's not even 3 weeks old yet. To be going through these kinds of problems, it's... I would like to say it's surprising, but it's not. It's you got a bunch of people that are already riled up because of the initial thing that happened. Let's just call it what it is. They're all mad because of what happened with George Floyd, and we're not going to go into that topic. But at the same time, for them to go ahead and do all this and our leaders not take a stance against it is infuriating.
Well, as you know, just two wrongs don't make a right. Whether it's your children at home that you have to discipline when you're dealing with them, or whether it's a giant mass of people, or whether it's a policeman and a non-policeman. When you end up with two wrongs, it still doesn't make it right.
It doesn't. It never will. The real issue here is why hasn't anyone come to stop it yet?
Yeah, and the thing is they tried to do this in Tennessee, and there's been a couple other states where they've tried to take over areas, and the police and the governors are just like, no, we are not doing that. We're not letting this even get close to happening.
No, as of this recording, there was 3 or 4 different places that tried to do this anonymous zone again, and like you said, they shut it down real quick. And that's the way it should have happened. But you got weak leaders like this, the mayor and governor of Washington, both of them, when they were asked, I believe it was on the Fox Next, where it's like, oh, we had no idea this was going on. There's videos of it going on. There's literally filled up with Twitter and YouTube of videos of this going on right now. You can't tell me you don't know what's going on. You're purposely looking the other way because you don't.
If you look at any of these protests for the George Floyd thing, oh my gosh, for the George Floyd thing, you see at least 20 people on your screen all the time with their phones out.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly video recording, that's what I would guess. So this has got to be all over the place if you didn't get there. So, all right, well, let's talk about the Warlord of Chaz.
Ooh, Razamone. That's always a fun topic.
He looks like a fun guy.
I mean, you can't argue with the... Is that him in the Santa outfit?
I didn't vote for Raz. I thought we were an autonomous collective. Oh, Fox News. Raz just can't simply expect to wield supreme executive power because someone threw him a sword. If you want my opinion, nobody threw this guy a sword. He just saw that it was a great opportunity to wear gold chains and use his guns for something.
Well, let's say chaz sticks around for a while. It's been about 3 weeks now. Let's say it gets in about 2 months. Do you really think all these people that are letting him run the show right now because he has the guns, how long do you think before someone gets tired of him and then they bring in their own guns, and now there is a huge war that's not going on just inside Chaz, but it's now spilling out in Seattle?
Yeah.
I mean, I pray to God it doesn't happen, but worst case scenario, I mean, what do you think's going to happen here?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to be careful of. I mean, that's the next thing on here is Chaz's police is stopping and frisking everyone who wants to enter. So if you're trying to carry more guns in, they're not going to let you.
Someone does get tired enough. I mean, they're just going to wait for them to come in there. I mean,
at this point, the only way for this to either die out is either people walk away, which so far hasn't happened, but is either enough people walk away, or there's going to be an armed conflict regardless, because they have guns and they're obviously willing to use them. They're shooting their own people.
right. And that's my thing. I mean, if it does start coming down to who wants to be the bigger bad guy, the bigger warlord, and take over this area, because who knows? Maybe the Gardens do take off and they become successful. Now somebody else wants to run the show.
Right.
You seen how sweet of gardens they had?
Yeah.
It was...
They were... Woo!
Sorry, I almost said that with a straight face.
You almost got there. The next second thing is Seattle's Chaz practices Jim Crow. I didn't know exactly what that means, but basically they do whatever they want. If you're white taking a video of Chaz organizers, you will be escorted out, while others of color or beliefs are allowed to stay. Basically, they do whatever they want.
I watch videos on Chaz almost daily now, and I really wish it would be more surprising, but it's not.
Well, do you think are they all worried about COVID-19 now?
I'm pretty sure that with their high levels of medical degrees are in there, they've stopped COVID-19 from entering.
So marijuana is now definitely a agent to stop COVID-19. Oh. Chaz leaders have removed the ability of property owners to use their properties as they wish and have taken it over, blocked people in, and violated the freedoms according to the Constitution. They're defying the Fifth Amendment rights of the people who are around. I mean, they're checking people for weapons before they're entering. They're starting their own police force. I'm not sure how long that they're going to be able to do this, so... And Chaz is corrupt. The Enclave leaders have already run a shakedown and extortion operation of nearby businesses. The unsaid promise is that nothing will happen to the locals if they're on the right side of things. Yeah, that's terrible. It sounds like mob rule.
That's exactly what it is. We can see in a bunch of different cities, especially Atlanta right now, that the mobs rule. Is everyone's scared, going to be coming to a head, and I think it's going to be sooner than to later, to where we're either going to have to put a stop to this mob mentality, or we're going to have to face the consequences of essentially another civil war.
Yeah. Well, you can never have a good conversation with a mob.
No, fortunately, it is either their way with what they're preaching, or we're going to beat you.
Yeah.
We have videos all over the line right now, especially with one certain group, to where if you don't stand with them in solidarity, you're the enemy.
Oh, yeah. And they'll beat you. Which is pretty much what slavery is.
It's unfortunate that you can see the progression we became or have had as a nation, and to see how we're acting today versus where we were at 20 years ago. Do you remember the mid-90s and early 2000s where it seemed like everybody was getting along and everything was great?
Some of that was we were younger too, so we didn't know all the stuff that was going on. But yes, I agree with that.
Well, I mean, even at that, we had the TV shows, the media, and everything else that portrayed us all coming together. And there was comedies where we were all laughing together. Because even if the nation in the media circuits today, you can see with a cancel culture, which is a completely different show, can you imagine anything by Mel Brooks being made?
Yeah, never. No, and the thing is, we were all willing to learn stuff, and I don't know.
Well, we were more together as a nation back then than we are right now. And we could see that, we could feel that, as we felt a closeness, a community together. Even if we weren't living next to someone, it was easy to go over and help someone. Now you can't have a conversation without insulting someone and being called a racist.
Right? A racist or a bigot or whatever else may be on their mind. Chaz may be running black market Lucy's. The greedy New York City mayor and his sidekick with the e-cigarette taxes collector went out and stopped forever Eric Gardner for selling loose cigarettes. Someone is offering to provide cigarettes for Chaz. They'd better sell them all in packs, for the revenuers might come and get them. Lots of people are donating to this. Basically, Chaz is just making everyone less safe. The the chief of police came out and basically said, "Hey, we're not getting to things as much as we could. Anything that's happening in the police-free zone, they've literally made it a police-free zone. Mm-hmm. They're not letting emergency vehicles and other things in there. Yes, they want to blame the police for that. We don't send medical units in unarmed to places that are dangerous on purpose because we don't want those guys getting injured as well." And basically somebody says that the warlord, Mr. Simone, has been tweeting things that are anti-gay.
Oh, I didn't hear this one.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, and the new warlord might not be woke enough. Raz the warlord may get canceled because some of his tweets did not embrace gay people.
How dare he? What kind of warlord is he?
However, he does have an AK-47 that he slings over his shoulder on the premises, so canceling the rapper would be tricky. Basically, we're back to the Cold War. I think it will be interesting to keep our eyes on this as time goes forward. It makes me worried to some extent that we have this many people that are into this and a government official that is willing to allow this to happen. That worries me. Truthfully worries me. That's not funny, but it does worry me that it's willing, that they're allowed to let that happen. And yeah, I think that things could spiral out of control, but I think we still have more people in more states that are not going to let this happen than will at this point. And so that makes me feel relieved, at least for now, but it does worry me for my children in the future. Yeah, if things continue to spin that direction. So I guess that's why we continue to fight and continue to talk about what's going on.
And with that, this is the Man Up channel. We'd like to leave with a word of advice today. If you have a conservative friends that have lots of guns, make sure you bring him a pizza and a case of beer because you're probably going to need his protection sometime in the future. With that, I am Bob Buckland, and we will see you later.
See you.